It was 1:43 a.m. when the hum of an electric charger snapped me awake, a low buzz cutting through the still lake air like a mosquito that wouldn't quit. I stumbled to my window, half asleep, and saw her, Lydia Pierce, my neighbor, swaying on my dock in a bathrobe, clutching a tumbler of what smelled like cheap rose, her golf cart plugged into my solar panel like she owned the place. She tripped, splashing her drink, and slurred, "Hope that's not my fault," before giggling and staggering off, leaving her cart to leach off the system I'd built for my boat and lights, the same one that got me out on the water before dawn. I'm Sam Carter, a mechanic who carved out a quiet life on Pine Lake, just outside the main drag of Willow Shores, a ritzy lakeside neighborhood with an HOA tighter than a vice grip. That dock, I poured 2 years into it. Every plank bolted by hand, every wire sealed against the weather, a solar setup I wired myself to keep my fishing trips and evening beers lit without a dime to the grid. It's my sanctuary, my escape from the noise, and definitely not Lydia's personal charging station. But there she was, acting like my power was her birthright, smirking when I yelled from the porch. "Power's not free, Lydia. HOA doesn't own my dock." She just waved me off, drawling, "It's for the community, hon. Get with the program." By morning, I was fuming. Her cart's tire marks scar my dock. The solar unit was sticky with wine, and my multimeter showed she'd drained enough juice to trip a breaker. This wasn't just a neighbor borrowing a cup of sugar. This was theft, bold and sloppy, with a side of entitlement that made my blood boil. I live outside Willow Shores' core, paying my dues to keep the peace, but steering clear of their drama. I picked this lot because my dock straddles the Lakes County line, free from their rulebook. But Lydia, the HOA's unofficial queen, didn't care about lines. She wanted control, and my dock was her latest conquest. Lydia's not just any neighbor. She's a mid-50s socialite with a perm and a knack for getting her way. Front row spots at the clubhouse, a bigger deck than bylaws allow, even chopping down a heritage oak for her view. She's got the board wrapped around her finger, especially Paul, the president, a guy who wears aviators indoors and talks like he's selling timeshares. I called Lydia that afternoon, calm as I could, asking her to stop. Her voice dripped fake sugar. "Oh, you're the dock guy," she said, like she hadn't just played vampire with my solar rig. "My HOA plugs way over by the tennis courts. I'm just borrowing yours. Neighborly, right?" I laid it out. Private property, no permission, straight up theft. She laughed, sharp and mean. "Relax, Sam. It's just a few electrons." 2 nights later, she was back, her cart hooked up with a janky extension cord, alligator clips duct taped to my input box. The dock hatch was open, saltwater had seeped in, and an inverter screeched when I flipped it on. Another trip breaker, $1,200 in damage. I sent her a bill and a cease and desist, certified mail. Next morning, my mailbox was stuffed with the shredded bill and a post-it, "Dream on. HOA's got my back." I was done playing nice. At the next HOA meeting, I stood up, expecting some backup from aboard. Instead, Paul leaned back, smirking, and said, "We're rolling out a shared energy plan. Your dock's off-grid, so Lydia's using it evens things out. You're welcome." The room went quiet, folks shifting in their seats, nobody meeting my eyes. I walked out, my hands shaking, feeling like I'd just been mugged in broad daylight. Outside, Tina, a retired nurse from down the shore, grabbed my arm. "Careful, Sam," she whispered. "Lydia's got dirt on Paul and half the board." They let her do whatever. It clicked. Lydia wasn't just pushy. She was untouchable, pulling strings like a puppet master. But I'm not the type to roll over. I got to work, slapped a coated lock on the solar unit, rigged motion cameras, and added a water sprayer under the dock rail, meant for raccoons but ready for bigger pests. I hit the county clerk's office and found gold. My dock's tip crosses the lake's demarcation line, putting it under county rules, not the HOA's. That meant I could set up defenses, nothing dangerous, just educational. With Tina's heads up and my cousin Joey, an electrician with a wicked streak, we cooked up a plan. Joey suggested a dummy inverter. Looks legit, buzzes when plugged in, but trips and cuts power if anyone messes with it. We tweaked the sprayer to fire lake water on a pressure plate after midnight, paired with a camera flash to catch the action. I called it the brine blitz. We tested it with sandbags, worked like a charm. 3 nights later, Lydia crept back, cart humming, wearing a tracksuit and shades like she was in a bad spy movie. The sprayer hit her square, water blasted her cart's battery, and soaked her sneakers. She screamed, dropped her tumbler, and slipped, arms windmilling, the flash popping like a paparazzi shot. I mailed the photo to the board and signed, with a note, "Green energy test. Fail." I thought that'd spook her, but Lydia doesn't spook. She escalates. A few days later, every mailbox got an HOA memo, glossy and official, claiming docks and solar setups were now community access points. My address was listed, bolded, like I'd signed up for their eco-fantasy. No vote, no notice, just Lydia's power grab in print. Then came a letter threatening $200 daily fines for blocking shared access, starting that day. I was livid, but the real gut punch was when I caught her cart again, headlights blazing, wires sparking, one while teetering off the dock. I called the fire department. They confirmed a battery fire risk and chewed Lydia out, but she played dumb, saying I'd tampered to frame her. Paul called it a misunderstanding, and I knew then. This wasn't about power anymore. It was about breaking me. I went full offense. Joey and I rewired the solar unit, hiding the Real circuit under a fake panel and rigging the dummy to fry any unauthorized plug-in with a buzz and blackout. We upgraded the sprayer with a non-toxic blue dye packet for extra flare. I filed a county complaint, citing my dock's jurisdiction and the HOA's fraud. Tina tipped me off about a van, EcoWave Solutions, scoping my dock for an energy node, install, no permit, no consent. I chased them off, but then a packet arrived, claiming my dock was a smart charging pilot site, complete with a forged signature and Lydia listed as project lead. The county clerk, a no-nonsense woman named Miss Ruth, said Lydia's name had crossed her desk twice that month. Other neighbors were fighting her, too. That's when Lydia overplayed her hand. She showed up with Paul and Ellen, a mousy board member, strutting on my dock like they were buying it. I rolled up, phone recording, and laid it out. "This is my land, my power, and you're trespassing. I've got the deed, the zoning map, and your fake memo on file with the county." Lydia smirked. "We're just ensuring safety, Sam. Your junky setup's a hazard." I fired back. "Hazard? Your cart nearly torched my dock last week." Ellen looked uneasy, but Paul tried to smooth it. "Let's be civil. It's for the community." I held up the forged packet. "Community doesn't mean forging my name. County's got this, and you're on camera." Lydia's grin twitched, and she stormed off, Paul trailing like a scolded kid. That night, Lydia came back, her cart tricked out like a sci-fi prop, solar film, lithium pack, a robotic arm to snake past my lock. She plugged into the dummy, grinning at her GoPro like she'd won. 5 seconds later, the inverter groaned, sparked, and died, the sprayer blasting blue-dyed water over her cart, her face, her camera. She shrieked, slipped into the shallows, flailing like a drowned cat. Tina's drone, yeah, she's got one, caught every second, and I posted it anonymously to a local homeowner forum. Titled "Lydia's Power Grab Goes Swimmingly." It went viral, even hitting a news segment where anchors cackled over her eco-flop. The HOA called an emergency meeting, packed to the rafters, the air electric with gossip. Paul tried to spin it, mumbling about a policy review and stepping back, but the crowd wasn't buying. I stood, folder in hand, voice steady. "I've got every memo, every clip, every lie Lydia's fed you. County's got it, Channel 7's got it, and you can have it too. Drop the dock claim, retract your newsletter, or we're in court." A guy in the back yelled, "Where's Lydia?" Tina leaned in. "Say her name, Paul, or we will." Then Ellen stood, shaking, and broke the spell. Lydia lit. Forged the green plan, faked Sam's consent. Paul knew, and we didn't stop her. That's on us. The room gasped, then nodded like a weight lifted. Paul caved, promising to kill the initiative and clear my dock's name. Lydia didn't show, but the fallout was swift. She was kicked off every HOA committee, Paul quit, and Ellen stepped up, vowing to clean house. The county fined EcoWave for unpermitted work, naming Lydia in the slap. I threw a lake bash on my dock, fried bass, blue punch, a playlist called Lydia's Wet Hits with gems like Splish Splash. Neighbors came, laughed, shared their own Lydia horror stories. Tina's bees, Mark's fine lawn, Jess's blocked shed permit. As the sun dipped, Lydia drove by. No blazer, just jeans, staring from her car. Our eyes locked, but she didn't speak, just peeled out, her reins sunk in the lake she'd flopped into. My dock's good as new. Fresh inverter, sealed wires, motion lights, a cedar sign. Private dock. Trespassers get soaked. The HOA's quieter now. Ellen's steering it straight, and the lake feels like ours again. But I keep that folder, those clips, because Lydias don't vanish, they lurk. A kid fishing off my dock last week asked about the sign. I grinned, said long story, but it's why we fight for what's ours. Maybe he'll tell it someday, or maybe you will. So what do you think? Was the brine blitz too much? Or did Lydia earn every drop? Got an HOA tyrant in your life? Drop your story in the comments. I'm all ears. Like, subscribe, and let's keep shining light on these backyard battles, because every dock's got a line worth holding.